Hi, morning, Saru.
Morning, Dr. Ting. How are you?
Okay, good, good, good. Monday morning.
Yeah, a bit in the rush.
So yeah, we get this done, huh? Okay.
Okay, sure, no worries.
Let's get started. Okay, I'll go through your work just very briefly, and it actually has let's treat this as your version 1, okay?
Okay, version 1.
So, just a few things to amend, overview of the chapter. This is
Okay.
what this chapter is all about. Okay. This one, I think okay, but I think this is better if we can put it somewhere else, because overview of the chapter is basically just what this chapter is all about, like the summary of the chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, like a general what
Uh-huh.
what is this chapter all about
The chapter, when you mean it, is it the literature review?
Yes,
Or the
yes.
whole? Okay.
Yeah. So this chapter is like, you should talk about, it goes from what to what to what to what to what, you see, to point out what, you see.
Because I feel that when I do this, it was like a bit lengthy for this overview.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things here is actually should belongs to the main segments. So
Okay.
what the chapter is all about is that you should say that, okay, this chapter is a literature review chapter of the, of the thesis or of the study. And then this literature review will cover what you say, like it will cover from the definition of defects to or the statistics of construction industry, to point out the importance of building industry, to what, if you imagine, it's like the roadmap of the chapter.
Okay. Or roadmap. Okay, understand. The framework lah.
Like the framework of the chapter, and what in the end, what does this chapter wants to produce mainly is to see the it mainly wants to see the definition of artifacts. It wants to see the problem statement, like what is the issues and problems, and then what is the previous studies,
Okay.
current practice, previous studies. You just have to mention this thing. You don't have to give a lot of detail about this thing. It's like an abstract,
It should
You
be as
understand
brief
what I'm
as
saying?
possible lah.
Really, I mean, like you still can have about a page, but it's not defining anything here. It's more like, what is this chapter trying to cover? It's like as the examiner, as the reader, I want to go in and I want to know what this chapter is all about.
Okay.
It should be also your framework. That is why you don't really have to rush to write this part first, because in the end, once you finish a whole chapter, then you will know. You just have to pick up, some things from the chapter to write here.
Okay. So whatever that I write inside this overview will be a more detail later below.
You should try to slot it into the details below lah. Okay. So here you see construction industry, and building and housing. Okay, so this one here, I think it's okay. You have a fair bit of statistic. I don't think you need to have this statistic as separate segments now.
Okay, just combine it, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, and then also you have to be more citation. Where are the citation for the reference?
I try to get more details on the statistic lah.
Yeah, you should get more details on that. I mean, like, especially with the construction industry contribution is one thing. Okay, so how the construction industry contribute to the economy. And then from the construction industry, there are many things that is constructed. Okay. So, what are the elements? What is constructed here? What is the
Okay.
construction industry constitute of? It constitute of construction of infrastructure, roads, commercial and all that. And then there is a part, that leads into like building, building and housing, residential, you see.
Okay.
And then
So
we'll
I
talk
just
about properly what is building, what is housing, it has to be a bit clearer than this lah.
okay.
So you don't have to split up into any segments. That's how I feel, because it's more on the definition. Unless you have like 2.2 point. I mean, I think your section is very short. So when it's very short, you don't need to divide into small segments. If the section is very long, that's when you try to divide into subsections.
Okay.
The construction industry contribution to the economy, and what is construction industry? What does it build? You see?
It should be as Malaysia as a whole, right? No need to be Sarawak specifically.
No. We try to be as Malaysia as a whole, as much as
Okay.
possible. And
Okay.
whatever that we are doing here, I don't want you to focus in Sarawak, even though your data collection is Sarawak. But the writing, the whole concept, the whole problem statement, it must be for Sarawak. I mean, it must be for Malaysia. Then the work is more valuable.
Okay.
Okay. It's only when you come to the case studies, you want to collect data, then in the methodology, maybe you can mention specifically Sarawak, but normally everything else you are coming from the perspective of Malaysia.
Okay.
So what is the contribution to the building industry? What does it build? It builds road infrastructure, drainage, so many things that the construction industry build. And then part of it is only the building and housing. And then because defects is applicable for all projects,
Yeah, correct.
So then if you don't be specific about building and housing, then it's going to be a bit of a misleading topic already. So then that's why you need to explain what is building, what is housing, you see?
Okay. So for this particular area, we just talk about the construction as a whole. Then I pin down what are the items being constructed, and then all the way until buildings and housing.
Yes, with the statistics to show the importance of your research. Even including like how much complaints, how much money is wasted, that kind of thing. Yeah, to build up your case, you see. Okay. So then your 2.3 should be about construction defects already. It should be about construction defects already, or problem of building leading to defects. Can be you can have this, but I think it should be 2.3 already, because we want to focus on 2 defects already.
Okay, so this is the one where we pin down the defects after the construction.
What is the problem with the building industry? Major or main issues. So there must be a lot of main issues. There must be a lot of problem with the building industry. Like, delays politica, a lot of other things that is involved. You cannot jump straight away to construction defects,
Okay.
So this one here, you can actually, if you really want to have a subsections, maybe this one can combine with the building industry, the top here, the building industry.
Okay.
So when you talk about construction defects, it must be like, there's many problems with there are many issues with the building industry. Okay. So just search for literature that talks about building industry and its associated problems. Okay. And then of course one of them will muncul about maintenance, about operations, about defects, after constructions or during constructions, and then I'm not complying to regulations, etc., etc. So you don't try to, in every paragraph, mention, like, fully talk about one problem like that. And then one of the problem is defects, and then you move into defects in building construction 2.3. Okay.
Okay.
Then this is where you actually define. So all these things here, I think, is a bit
generic.
Yeah, it's very generic. It's very touch and go, which you are not flowing it at all. You see?
Okay, understood.
You're not flowing it. You're talking about different pieces of things in everything, and then in the end, we don't know what you're trying to tell me here.
Okay, understood.
Okay? So this construction defect, and talk about mitigation first. You see, you talk about construction defects. So this one should go to what is construction defects. It should come down here actually. There should be somewhere here. Then don't talk about assessment criteria. Although this is too early for this to mitigate this, and although this is too early. You are jumping already. You are already telling me that, I know the answer. I know all about it already.
Okay, okay,
so
understood.
You have to beef up your case. Yeah.
So it seems that I already jumped into conclusion.
Yes.
Okay,
So
understood.
defects. What is defects? Go from what is defects, what are the causes of defects, and explain the causes in detail. That what is defect, visible, hidden, latent, pattern, all these things is under definition. Don't talk about addressing the issue here first. Okay? All these things about addressing the issue is too early.
Okay.
Then you follow in and talk about current practice with defect assessments. Okay, good. This is current practice, but I think we need to expand it a little bit and talk about the parameters, the sub-parameters, and all
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Or any format that they have, and all that. And then up to this point, you should be able to see that we have a current practice, but we still have high level of defects. So in the defect section, when you talk about definition, the latent, the pattern, the hidden, and the frequency, you need to have a part on how frequent is this happening, what is the statistic regarding all these things, like how much money is wasted, handling defects, is there any legal lawsuit and all that regarding this defect, and what is the biggest lawsuit or whatever in case, because you are talking about legal system here. So then you should talk about, like how serious the problem is.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you have the causes, so you have the definition, the causes, how serious things is, and what is the current practice. So you see, after you fully talk about these few things, then you will have a direction already. And this direction is, in order to mitigate, in order to improve the situation, these are some of the mitigation methods that is proposed by certain people, like, it is proposed in Singapore, it is proposed in it is proposed in US, it is proposed in Malaysia, something like that. And then you try to point out the inadequacy, and then you say that the possibility of mitigating this is to have what, you see? Then all this will contribute to your problem statement, aim, and objective already.
Okay.
You are not establishing to us the gap of study here. Yeah, this is all still touch and go, I don't know what way you should be slotting this into. Legal framework. Are you talking about the current legal framework to, like the law and legal framework to address defects?
Yes, correct. What is the current practice that they have for each country, like something like that?
Then you should be putting this as under current legislation or current practice with the legislation and all that.
Okay. Should be in this chapter as well.
Yeah. It should be in this chapter.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I mean, like I said, the flow of the whole thing is very messy. So these
Mm-hmm.
challenges and recommendation is what? It's about practical solutions.
Yeah, something like that. How to address it?
Then you should move all the mitigation, the possibility of mitigating it here.
Oh, the early one.
Yeah, the earlier ones. So you see, after every section now, you should be able to give me something. You should be able to understand something. You know, after you understand what is defect, what are the name of defect, what are the type of defect, what are the causes of defect, you know, and how frequently defect is happening, how serious the problem is, then you can show us that there is the seriousness in this problem. And then when you cover what are the current practices, what are the current law, what are the current regulations, what are the current councils, what are the current practice, what are the current tools and techniques, you're telling us that, hey, look, you know, we have ways of addressing this, but how come the problem is still high? It's missing here.
Okay.
See? Apart from assessment framework or relevant assessment framework, then you can go into previous studies. Okay. Finally, you give me a minute, you hold on.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
Okay. So I think you need to rearrange a lot of things, and then you still have to add in some information now,
Okay.
Okay. So you get my picture or not? I need you to really establish what is happening now, what is the seriousness of the problem, what is the level of seriousness of the problem in your literature review, and then putting in covering everything that is available, like the practice, the law, the legislation, the regulations, and all that. And in the end, we're saying that, hey, you know, look, what is missing here?
So meaning to say, at the end of the literature review, just leave it like hanging. So it's like a statement of there's a problem, is it?
No. You cannot leave it hanging. You are supposed to tell us that something is missing here.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is you're going to, from the construction industry and the building industry, you are telling us that there is some problems with defects in building industries. Okay. So then you explain. So you need to give me a summary that is your wordings, you know, like your wordings as in, you know, like one paragraph at the end of every major sections or at the end of sections that has a lot of information. You need to summarize and give us that. You know, you need to lead the reader to understand something here. And it's also a way for you to understand what your work, what you are doing, you see.
Mm-mm.
So you've read so many literature already on building industry, on the statistic, on what are the major issues, what are the major problems that is leading up to the major problem with the building industry and the housing industry. And then this is the one of the major problems is defects. And then the following sections will explain defects in a lot more detail. See? And then you write 2.3 defect. What is defect? What is the definition of defect? You know, like from this author, that author, that author, what is housing defects, what is building defects, what are the type of building defects, you know, not only latent pattern, but type of building defects. It could be in the wall, in the floor, in the, you know, in the ceiling, you know, in the main structure, you know, like you must list down all these things. It must be a lot of detail here.
Okay.
Yeah. So then from all the defects, and then the major definition of defect to the smaller definition of building defects to the type of building defects, and then to how serious the problem is, how serious the problem is, and what are the level of complaints that you're seeing and all that. So that shows us the seriousness of the problem. You know, some problems, yes, you still can repair during DLP. Some problem you cannot because it's hidden already. And then it only comes out when and etc. So you must tell us the seriousness of the problem here.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. So it's not your words, it's literature review. But at the end of the section, you must give a summary about how serious the problem is, where the problem comes from, what are the causes of the problem, and you know, and it's a serious problem, you see.
Mm-mm.
And then the next section will tell you about the current practice. What are the current practices? Current practice can be from the direction of the assessments available. It can be from law, it can be from legislation, it can be from councils, it can be from regulations, it can be from current practices of what the authority do and don't do, you know. So it's like you have another 2.4 on current practices. So when you have a current practice that is like this and a problem is like this, can you point out to us what is missing here? What is the possibility for what is missing?
Okay, just need to get the gaps which are
right. So you this stage, later on, when you write your problem statement, you have no problem, you see.
Oh yeah, because we can see what are the problems available. The gaps.
And then you are writing your summary, what you put in every section, the summary into your problem statement.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the possibility of resolving this could be what, you see? Could be things in regulations, you know, things in making enforcement stricter, you know, or having an assessment criteria. And what can we do with the assessment criteria? So again, it's not about what you say, you know, it's about what other authors say. You know, you don't really have to search for the exact like, you know, I know your aim is to come up with the assessment criteria, but you cannot keep on focusing on assessment criteria at this point. You have to explore all possibilities, and then you yourself come to a conclusion that, hey, you know, it may be good if we have a proper assessment criteria, and that is your aim and objective already.
So meaning to say, in this literature review, there are few options available before we pin down into one factor. One factor, is it?
Correct. Okay. You must explore all the possibilities out there. Otherwise, if you have an examiner, let's say we have an external examiner come in, and then they will say, no, he or she is also in a practice, he or she is also an academician, he or she also read up from this thing. Then they will ask, have you ever considered it? Have you ever considered it? And then your answer would be no, you see. Then what makes your thesis valuable? It's not valuable. You should consider a lot of things before you arrive at that assessment criteria.
Okay, understood.
So you must cover all possibilities, you see. And then when you talk about things, don't jumble it up. Finish talking about one thing, go to the next thing. Talk about one thing, go to the next thing.
Yeah, understood. I noticed that my this one is but here and there mix.
Yeah. So I mean, this is not really it, it's really not it yet. It's a bit of a, I mean, it's some improvement from the previous one. So let's take this as a first draft, and we go from there. How much time do you need? End of the
Uh,
month? Or,
Not in a month. I can get it done because next week. Can we do it in 2 weeks time, 24th?
yeah, can up to 28. I give it up to 28 to submit to me, lah, huh?
I'll submit by 24th because next week I'm away. So next by 24th I can have another session with you lah, if you're okay.
So you want to submit before the 24th, is it?
I mean, need to say I'll submit it by 22nd or 23rd. So at least by that particular week, 24th or 25th, we have another session for the version number 2.
24th.
If you're okay.
Busy that 2 days because we are doing our undergraduate stuff.
Oh, okay.
So the earliest that I can do with you is probably on 27th.
27. Okay, so meaning to say I'll submit it by 25th, 25th lah, huh?
25th or 26th also can lah.
Okay, 25th, 26th lah. That is the last date I submit to you.
Can, but you do it properly, there's no point of you like blah, and then in the end, I have to return this back to you.
Okay. I'll look into it again, Dr. Ting.
And then all your, don't write things that it's like here you try to be as much as more literature as possible. Your literature is not enough. I mean, I have seen many papers on the fact. This is not it, huh? Yeah. This is only about how many? Like, less than 20. This is 2 liter.
Should be more.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot more in the market here. I mean, like, I can easily point out there's another like 20 or 30 kind of thing on the fact, you see. Next,
Okay.
talking about legal systems here, are you sure? Did I give you this topic or you change the topic yourself? I mean, are we sure we're doing the legal framework here? We are just wanting to come up with the assessment criteria.
Assessment, yes, correct, yeah. Because here we're just like pinned down already.
Yeah, so this legal framework, I have a question mark here, huh? I mean, like, did I give this to you? I think I give you something on legal framework, right? It's more on defect and let me check. Analysis of legal framework. Okay. It's a topic for now, huh? So I don't know how much concentration we want to put on legal framework. Whether legal framework is an issue, is a problem here, okay? Maybe not. Okay, so we will see how we go later on. So don't concentrate on this, concentrate on this.
Okay, assessment criteria lah.
Yeah, assessment criteria and how you should come up with the assessment criteria and trying to come up with the defect. Please, come up with something that you can use to inform the authority or Yeah, it isn't to do with legal framework, but you need to also study the legal framework first for you to see whether there's any issues in the legal framework. And then if there's really an issue in the legal framework or the authority practices, then we may need to adjust or we may keep the title as it is lah.
Okay.
So the title now is that legal framework. Yes, you can look at legal framework, assessment criteria, rights of the property owner. Yeah, you can look at all these things, but we will see whether which part of it is maybe weak and we may want to throw away, or we will retain it if it's really something there for us to look at. Because at the moment we are only guessing that this is the situation, but I need literature review to support everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, huh? So yes, so let's proceed. And 24th, 25th. I mean, I see that a lot of your literature are not enough. And then the definition is definitely not enough. You didn't even write about the type of defects that is clearly seen, in housing. It could be material, it could be not material. Workmanship is causes. I mean it's like not the causes. What is the word for it? Macam dia punya sources of defect. see?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the causes, it's the sources of defect.
No, is it root cause? No, no root cause.
You can use the word root cause. Okay. Yeah, workmanship is the root cause, material is the root cause, but material is also a type of defect, you know.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Substandard materials.
You have non-standard material. It's also a type of defect.
Yes.
You can have, then there is a definition between non-compliance and material that is not up to standard, you know. When material is not up to standard, it's like the code, you know, you're not fulfilling certain code, you're not fulfilling certain regulations, you know, like Sirimka or whatever. Those are like non-standard, you know. But the non-compliance one is like, yes, this thing is actually certified okay. But it's not what you want for your project. You see, like if I use skin tiles, okay, it is according to standard. That is not standard, it's non-standard material. But because your project actually calls for, I don't know, like marble or whatever, then this house is not according to that standard. It's not compliant to your specification, you see?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So that is a defect also in that sense. So material not only is a sources of defect, it's also a defect by itself, you see? It's just
So meaning
a defect. Tiling run out is a defect. You know, a ceiling room door is a defect. Leaking is a defect. Material is also a defect.
So meaning to say there's part of the section I need to like clearly define defect is the scope until where.
You need to really see all these things, you know. Otherwise, you cannot come up with the assessment criteria one. Do we have an understanding here? Like
Yes,
your
correct.
definition, the construction defect, what is defect? Don't use the word construction defect, use the word defect first. And then, you know, why you want to go to construction defect? Construction defects is that, to me, is that you already pinpointing to say the masala is from construction. The masala could be from design.
Yeah, the design flaws.
Yeah, and it could be the wrong specification of the standard.
Correct.
Yeah, so then you see, you have to define defect in housing, type of defect. You know, letter and pattern is only a big umbrella. You see, and under letter and pattern, you know, in a housing industry, where are the defects usually that you see? Is it in the structure itself? Is it in the ground itself? Is it in the exterior, interior itself?
So, Dr. Ting, so later on that particular section on the defects will be a bit lengthy, lah.
Yeah, go ahead, be lengthy. I don't want you to be short. I want you to understand everything.
Okay, so from top to down lah on the defects item.
Yes, on the defects item, you know, you can even do a table, you know, and put a few authors in it, you know, like this sources is from these few authors, and then you have a table of a list of defects, you see?
Okay.
Then after that, you talk about the seriousness of all these problems. And then you end this section 2.3 on defects, and then you go to the practices on, you know, testing defects, on capturing defects, you know, and on reporting defects. You know, you can use that kind of format to, you know, to write as well. From detection to reporting, from detection to reporting to rectification to law and regulations.
Okay, so the law and regulation will be part of it as well. I just touch a bit on it.
Yes, I think so, because you need to say that because you have a way of detecting it, yeah, and you have a way of assessing it. You have a way of reporting it, and then you have a way of asking for rectification. If the procedures are all day, things are all day, then what about enforcement? What about regulations? What about legislation? At the end of it, you know, downstream. Current practice. So from the current practice, I want you to discern which is
Okay.
the problem.
Okay, noted.
Okay? Or maybe you can detect that there is a problem in process A, process C, and process D. Luckily, you focus on process C on assessment. That's fine. So then your objective is out already. You don't have to that's a problem in many procedures, but you want to focus on touching on one procedure. It's fine. Okay, huh?
Okay, noted, Dr. Ting. Understood.
Right, huh?
If anything, I'm not clear, I can text you, right? I can ask now.
Yes. So please
Okay,
go
sure.
through
Thank you
this
so much.
until the current practice and the framework. Do it properly, huh?
Okay.
Right. See you.
All right, noted. Thank you so much, Dr. Ting.
Fika, give me a minute, Fika.
Okay, sure, Dr. Ting.
Yeah, hello, Fika. Hello, Africa.
Yes, Dr. Ting.
Yeah, hi. All right. I just took a brief look at your work. The flow is a lot better now. Okay, the flow is a lot better. This one here for your chapter overview, this is a bit too long, I mean, like this one, you leave it to later, lah,
Okay.
When all your sections are confirmed already, then you will do a summary, but you don't have to go by, it's just only what this chapter, this literature review explore what, and then it will also examine this, that's it, like maybe the first sentence of every paragraph should be enough already, okay?
Okay, so the first part of the 2.1, I can just remove it?
Not to remove it, leave it as it is first. Once your whole chapter 2 is finished, then you go back to it, okay?
Okay, sure.
Right. Demarcation of urban and rural areas, okay? Maybe you should not say demarcation, just say that demarcation is already like later, so I think it's better for you just to define what is rural, define what is what is urban and rural.
Okay.
Right? Generally, what is it? And then what are the general demarcation?
Okay.
Okay, and then baru demarcation in Malaysia.
Oh, okay, sure.
So instead of using demarcation so straightforward like that, this is like, I don't know why you want to talk about demarcation straight away, it doesn't make sense, you see.
Yes.
Let's talk about urban and rural. What is urban and rural areas, so what is urban, what is rural? So yeah, you can keep urban and rural areas in Malaysia or urban. It's a bit weird. I mean, you need to find something else to say, put as a title here.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, yeah, not urban and rural areas. Is that a better way of putting this, huh?
Yeah, we need to repress that.
And this is a very general sections, you see. It's a very, very general sections. It's about yeah, I mean, this actually is supposed to be very general in a way. So whereby you define what is rural, what is urban, with the current, literature. This one has to be very, very current, even up to 2023 if you can, or 2024, because like these things on urban and rural, sometimes they change, as years goes along. So don't use the old ones,
Okay, sure.
yeah, like maybe UNESCO, UN, they actually come up with a lot of definitions as years pass by. So find the latest one, So then,
Yes.
what is general demarcation is? What do you mean by demarcation, and what is demarcation? Not only about Malaysia, but generally around the world. How does people define rural and also urban? You see? In Australia, in Thailand, in Southeast Asia, in China, in some in the Southeast Asian countries, some in the country like Australia and China, which is a little bit more which is more developed, and Japan and all that.
Yes.
So get the general demarcation right, and then we move on to the demarcation of demarcation in Malaysia. Okay, so Malaysia demarcated based on what? Don't say such as already, because such as is like, there's many other possibilities still, you see. So please put in what exactly is the factors that demarcate. What are the criteria that do the demarcation?
Okay, sure.
All right, so the word such as is like, if you're telling me that there's still a lot of possibilities.
Oh, okay, I understand.
So this demarcation is very important. So you said this something is very crucial for planning of infrastructure and economic growth. Okay, so can you please do a bit of literature definition? I see that you don't have much literature definition for these sort of sentences. Okay. And then the density, so you must be you must be defining your demarcation here in Malaysia based on your factors, So there will be
Mhm.
something writing on the density. There must be some writing on activities, access to infrastructures and all that.
Okay, yes.
So I don't see much here. You see, you are not really defining your demarcation based on your definition.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You understand? You say you have access to infrastructure, you have your density, you have your what. So their density is here, but what about the other two? Economic activities, access to infrastructure.
Oh, okay, sure.
Uh,
I'll input that.
we'll talk about it here. And then it's the access to infrastructure that will be leading you to talk about infrastructure. Okay. So don't talk about addressing all these things here. I mean, like, this is a bit too early. I don't want you to address anything, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, now you have got, this is the demarcation. So then access to infrastructure is one of the demarcation. So infrastructure is a keyword here. So talk about what is rural infrastructure, and that deals with rural development, you know, and then bring it into rural development and rural development of infrastructure or something like that.
Okay. Development of infrastructure. Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're going to be putting rural development, are we going to be putting it in the same section? Is it enough?
No.
So you see, from the one of the criteria for urban and rural is infrastructure. You see, access to infrastructure. So now we're talking about what is rural infrastructure and the development of rural infrastructure. So my question is, do you want to put it in 2.2, or do you want to just leave as a new section on rural development?
Can we leave it?
2.2.1, then do you have a 2.2.2? You don't, you see?
Uh-huh.
I already mentioned to you, when you don't have a 2.2.1, you know, when you don't have a 2.2.2, 2.2.3, you don't have a 2.2 point something.
Yes.
So you only have two sections only. How can you have like 2.2.1?
Okay. Understand that. Maybe I can elaborate more, or I combine it somewhere else.
Unless you have a 2.2.2, then we can have sections.
Okay.
The rule to me lah. Because sometimes students like to section. You know, one section only 3 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, like that. So it becomes very inappropriate, you know.
Okay, yes, understand that.
All right, so you decide like to flow it, but what I want is to see that, you know, from infrastructure to the development of rural infrastructure, that leads you to talk about rural construction. Okay. So what is rural infrastructure? What is road, hospitals, renewable energy, whatever. Talk about rural infrastructure first, and then go into rural construction, because we need to construct all this rural infrastructure. So maybe this rural infrastructure thing, you can put it under 2.3. 2.3.
Okay.
So then the title will be rural infrastructure and construction.
Okay, understand that.
Okay. So then from rural infrastructure, okay, see, so many things is needed to develop the rural area. Then we need there will be a lot of construction activities. And then we talk about rural construction. Then this is when you want to divide into 2.2, 3.1, 2.3.2, maybe 2.3.1. You can talk about rural development, rural infrastructure. So maybe rural development, generally talk about what is rural development, and then 2.3.1 rural infrastructure, 2.3.2 is rural construction, something like that. Okay.
I think so.
So this is rural construction. So you see, this is already that rural infrastructure development is a very big topic already. So again, infrastructure to be earlier.
Okay, split it into two, rural infrastructure and rural development.
Yeah, I mean, like this should be the main topic.
Okay.
So I think you need to rearrange this whole sections here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This is the point of writing sustainable practices in rural area. Government policy in rural area, management and construction project in rural area. So what is this about?
Because last
What are you trying to tell us here?
consultation. Sorry?
Are you trying to tell us here? So from
No,
rural
because
construction,
uh-huh.
from rural, after you understand what is rural construction and the importance of rural construction and what does rural construction construct, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is next? What is the flow?
Okay.
Huh? What is your flow here? I mean, like, why you talk about this thing here? Sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Maybe sustainable and the government policy should come in later part of the literature review. But the project management we discussed last time to be included after rural infra and construction. We talk about project construction for rural projects.
Yes, so construction. So it is what? You don't suddenly have segments like this, you know. So, you must explain after you finish talking about the section that, rural project, there's a lot of things in rural project, and then this rural project needs to be managed. Then you talk about project management.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm trying to say, because you yourself put in 232 and 233 and 234 and all these things. So
Yes.
all this section here, what are you trying to convey here? There must be a message, there must be a central message that you're trying to control here.
Okay.
So what is the central message here?
Maybe I want to talk about rural infrastructure, but the idea is all over the place. Maybe I can rearrange this subsection.
You don't simply subsections. I need to see the flow, so from rural demarcation to rural infrastructure, from rural infrastructure to rural development of the infrastructure to the rural construction. These are getting narrow and narrower here, correct or not?
Okay. Yes.
You see the picture? So you want to develop the area, you need infrastructure. So infrastructure is smaller. From infrastructure, you need to construct the infrastructure. So that is rural development, rural construction is even narrower. So now you've already done all the definition about rural infrastructure, rural development, rural construction. So what is the next message that you want to bring to us here?
Oh, okay. Okay, understand that. I shouldn't talk about this. Yes, I shouldn't talk about this. So then after rural construction, maybe I can go for project management in rural construction. Then we go to the challenges that are faced for the project management and focus more on the land issue.
Can you try that? Okay. Can you try that? Because I think you can see your own problem already.
Yes.
Okay. So you rearrange this, rewrite this, okay, and then rearrange everything, and then from there you can say that, like from rural construction and project management in rural construction. So that is another narrower segment under rural construction. Okay. And then after that, we talk about the issues with managing project in rural environment. And that should be a big topic by itself. It could be a 2.5 or 2.4 or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So I think 2.3 is about rural infrastructure, development, and also
Construction.
rural development, rural infrastructure, and rural construction and management in rural construction. So that could be in 2.3. Okay.
Okay.
So then you
Okay.
have enough of subsections here to write. It can be very lengthy. This is going to be a very lengthy section. Just be lengthy is okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, you point out the issues or problems with managing rural projects.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that was 2.4.
Okay.
There are many issues here. Having sustainable practice is also one issue.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, land is also one
I
issue.
can talk about any other issues, but after this 2.4, I will focus more on land
Land. Correct.
problem, right? Okay.
Correct.
Sure. I can mention about logistics issue. I can mention about any other issues also.
Yes, you must cover everything.
Okay.
Yeah, before you point out, land is also one thing. So there are many problems here, but this study at the end of 2.4, you say you are going to be focusing on land issue.
Okay.
Then you talk about 2.5, the next section will talk about land issue 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, then you go into the land one.
All right.
Then land is about what? What is land? There is a, like the idea of land issues, you need to explain what is usually about land issues. Is it about ownership? Is it about land disputing, between the government or between the owner and the contractor? So again, you must go from big to small again, you see?
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a mini pyramid that you have to do it, you have to terbalik it, for every section. So
Oh, for it. Okay. Understood that.
so
Okay, sure.
so very bigger, kind of thing, Yeah. So I mean, this is relevant, but I don't see any proper definition on land issues in rural.
Okay. Include the definition later.
Definition, land, what is land, and then why is it there's a land issue? What type of land issues are there, So ownership is probably one of the problems. Dispute is probably one of the problem only. So you must go from very big general. You must cover everything before you bring our attention to one thing. You see. So we introducing all this key legislation. To me it is just very general. It's actually what's available out there when we talk about land in rural environment. So this is the available. This is the available legislation. So you still haven't defined what is land. Here you cannot. Here I don't see any problem with all these things. This is only about what is available. So in a way, you are going to be talking about. This is right. This is correct because you are supposed to talk about everything that deals with land here, land ownership. Property. Like what is it about land issue here?
Okay. So this 2.4, I will keep the 2.41 part and everything, but I'll add in the definition of land, definition of whatever issues they have, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I mean, I don't talk about issues first. Just talk about what is land. Is land, and what is the keyword that is relevant to land.
Okay.
Is ownership one of them? Is legislation one of them? Is law one of them? Dispute is the problem. You see, so you define everything first before you go to the problem.
Oh, okay, sure.
So it's like I ask you, what is your name? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you tell me what
Mm-hmm.
is your name, what is your age, and what is your whatever, whatever. When the doctor asks you when you go to the clinic, they will take your general record first.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then they will ask you, do you have any family inherited issues and all that. Then you talk about the problem. Oh yeah, my dad has this, my mom has this. You know, I'm not feeling well because of this, 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 this. You see, then you state your problem.
Mm-mm. Okay,
So
understand
same
that.
thing is here also. In the first place, you need to introduce yourself first. What is land?
Mm-hmm.
What is the characteristic? What is it that is relevant to land?
Okay. For the
Land is
related general.
we
Okay.
be clear about land ownership.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be clear about what are the key legislation that is available.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be clear about the property. Maybe I don't know. You know, it's like me myself, I have no much of a, you know, I've never studied this a lot in that sense. So I'm not sure. I want to see some literature on the word land and what are the things that is surrounding what is the definition of land.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about legislation a little bit like later, like in the middle somewhere. But in the first place, you must define your land. You know, what is
Mm-hmm.
constitute land ownership? What constitute, you know, when we have a land, it is just something that is there, correct or not? And then
Mm-hmm.
how does people demarcate or how does people boundary it?
Mm-hmm.
And how does people put ownership on it? So it becomes your land.
Okay, okay, sure.
Then
Find something on that.
your land is the land right.
Mm-hmm.
What does the owner have? You see?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about what are the key legislation, what are the key law, what are the key regulations pertaining to land in Malaysia or in Sarawak, in the ordinances.
Yes,
So now
okay.
that you understand, okay, this is what land is all about. Then what is the
Mm-hmm.
common problem regarding land? Okay, so it could be an ownership issue. People are not clear about the ownership. These are your problem already. You see? Then you have to really write about this problem here.
Okay. I need to elaborate more on that.
Elaborate more. Okay, and then how do you resolve them? Yes, dispute mechanism. Okay, so
Okay.
let's settle first before we can move on and see, you know, if there's anything that is. I mean, like, at the moment, it's a lot of definition. I still don't really see the gap here. Like,
Okay.
is there a problem with the legislation? Is there a problem with contract? Is there a problem with what that creates these problems? You see?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can have a section on causes of this problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, maybe we can draw out like where the issues are. Maybe we have already got very good legislation here. But it is the contract bit that does not match the legislation. And then that is where your study will be, you see? So again, I still don't see the issues, you see?
Yes.
Uh,
So I need to dig more to find out what are the issues that we are facing so we can write more on that.
yes, correct. You need to dig out the issues and the where the root causes of the problems are and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so from there we can see your problem, you know, where we can see your problem statement. That you are building up to that stage of problem statement. Yeah.
Yes.
For me, your work is more into contract, you know, like how contractually. That is why when you have all this dispute and all that, you know, it's very important. But you know, we are not focusing on all these things really, you know. So I think your title is you're focusing on legal measure. Legal measure is more on legislation or dispute. I mean, legislation or if you're focusing on legislation and contract, I think should be more. Or unless you can really see there's a very big problem with legislation, and then we are looking at legislation in resolving all these things, you see.
Okay.
But you have arrived at that stage to tell me that is legislation a problem or not, you know?
Okay. Understand that.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So I'm giving final up to 25th or 26th, and then we're meeting up again on the 27th.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are able to do it, can you please rearrange a lot of things in front and then get the direction more settled first? Yeah, because
I
like
think
I
should be
said,
okay, yeah.
yeah, okay, you give it a try. If there's any issue, you let me know, huh?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all the time that we can really, um, I mean, like, it's not like we will have to meet up, you know, like like three of you at the same time, because as we slowly move along, your pacing between the three of you would be very different. So slowly it will be just one to one already. So if you need more time, or if you can hand in faster, I can deal with you earlier, it's fine as well. Okay. But generally,
Okay, sure.
everybody up until 25th or even 28th also is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Noted, Dr. Ting.
But that one is already week now, week 3 already, so we better get it going as soon as possible, huh? Yeah, like I said, the main thing here is this land thing, you know. And then I think the issue here is the issue here is don't the dispute is very misleading. You know, when you talk about land issues, I believe dispute is only, you know, this is conflicts, you know, so you may not want to use a title like this, you see, something like it's like macam you're limiting yourself to land dispute already.
Okay.
Okay. So it should be ownership issues, boundary issues, rental issues, maybe tenant and landlord, right? You know, so I think this bit here is really, really, very important for you to elaborate on all the issues, you see. So this should be issues.
Issues related to
Yes, to land.
okay.
And also rural construction actually. You should tie in these two things together already.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So focus on that. Expand on that. This bit you need a major expansion. I think so. Let's not go further. We see how you go up to here. Okay.
Okay, sure, Dr. Ting.
All right. Huh.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So I'll see you maybe in another
2 weeks time.
3 weeks time now. So just rearrange it, brush up on it, and all that.
Okay, sure, boleh.
Right. See you, Victor.
Okay, bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too.
Morning, Dr. Ting.
Morning. So Hank, you give me a minute. Let me.
Sure. I
Yeah.
need to wear my safety also. I'm at the side actually. But it's okay.
25, huh? Very fast, huh? Time, huh? February already. Mm.
Yeah, lor. 3 more days already. Finish the what they call it, Chinese New Year last day on Wednesday.
Are you back in
Some-
KL already? Are you going
I'm
to
back in
Cambodia?
KL. No. I'm back in KL and then now in JB because I fly in yesterday. I'm supposed to be on leave this week. Supposed to be. But then there's one client from UK that asked my site presence today in this site in ColorCon. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. They are focusing on pastels, all this to producing the color thing, you know.
Yeah, this is your work. Okay.
Yep.
This bit here, like I say, we will leave it later on and
Yeah,
see what
Yep.
we can do later with it.
Yep, correct. Because that review is after finishing the whole thing. Then only then I do the review.
Construction industry, huh? Okay.
Yep. So I follow your structure, like what is construction waste and what is a statistic and what are the other countries are doing, but it's back by back, part by part lah. So
Your statistic, you don't have any literature.
oh, you mean statistic also need to have a proper long literature review on the statistic, is it?
You must have citation. You cannot not, especially with all these numbers. If you don't have citation, it's very dangerous. So.
Oh, okay. I think
So
there
like
is a
5%,
citation.
70%, and all this,
Okay.
and all this must
Okay.
all these must have citation. No.
Okay. Can.
So can you you must like I already mentioned this, when you only have 2.1 paragraph like this, please don't open a new section.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean unless you have got enough detail. Otherwise, if you have like 3 pages of writing on the overview of construction Malaysian industry, then you can have a section.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's now for you to help yourself, to fill up the blank now. But my rules is if you open up a new section 2.2, okay, unless you have 2.2.1, 2.2.2, that is consisting of a few paragraphs, you don't open up.
Okay.
Unless you have it, otherwise you don't have it. You say like this only one paragraph, like this only one paragraph. So what's the point of having a subsection for one paragraph? You might as well just combine them together. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's safe, but right. So this is more of an overview, lah, huh? It's short less.
So for example, Dr. Ting, the 2.2, like construction is distributed into 2.2, 1, 2.2. So it's supposed to be under 2.2 only. Is it like that?
Yeah. Because your section is very, very short.
Oh, okay. So I lump them under 2.2 lah.
Yeah.
And then after that 2.3 and something like that. Not
Yes.
2.3.1.
Under 2.2, like this whole section of 2.2 is very, very short.
Okay.
I don't think the information is enough, lah.
Okay. So we need further elaboration on that.
Yes, you need further elaboration. I mean, 2.2
Okay.
is at least about 2 pages, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. On what is construction industry, the contribution to the construction industry, and then it has a very big economic contribution. So it's not something that you can throw away straight away for environmental purpose. You've got to point out the seriousness of things here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think this one here, the elaboration is not enough.
Okay.
What is construction industry and the level of work that we are doing, and then because of the level of work that we're doing, what kind of level of waste that we're producing each year, you know,
Okay.
and then go on and talk about like construction itself. What about building industry by itself? You are focusing on building industry, correct now?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So again, you should go from construction industry to the construction waste to the building industry's waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not limited only to the construction waste overall, but the whole thing inclusive of the building.
Because we don't have much things to write here, unless you have all the data on construction waste, then you don't talk about building first lah. Then you talk about on construction waste first lah. Yeah.
Okay, can.
You yourself bring in about construction building sector already, lah. So I thought you want to talk about building sector.
I talk about construction industry only at the moment, not really on the building sector. If you look at the one, it's all on the construction industry.
Yeah. So then don't use the word building sector.
Okay.
Right. So something is wrong here. Okay.
Okay.
So you talk about construction industry and all the waste that is produced, and then
Correct.
I think maybe you can even lump construction waste here. I think it will be smoother if you lump construction waste here.
Okay.
Straight away from the statistic to the amount of waste that is produced, and then talk about the type of waste. So then type of waste. Again, you are not putting in the sources. What about the citation of the sources?
I have. I think it's the sources are in there. Concrete, brick.
Yeah, but
wood,
what
metal.
year is it?
Oh, it's a year. Okay. Because this one is
based on which year again?
Okay.
No years. So how do I know? This could be 2005. Year 2000 for all we know. Correct now.
Okay. This one is actually 2000. The latest one, 2024. I think based on the latest literature review.
So current practice on waste disposal.
Yeah, you see the Velasco is actually 2024. It's the same review.
Okay, so I think this one can be all lumped together 2.2 lah, huh?
Okay. Can.
So if you want to split up into sections, let's say this is part of 2.2. If you want to split up into sections, you can. So there's an overview. There's an overview first in 2.2.1, overview of construction waste, and then followed by the type of waste, 2.2.2, and then 2.2.3, the current practice in waste disposal, in construction waste disposal. Okay, so I think you also should have some statistic about type of waste from type of construction. That is also very important.
Okay, can. So meaning that from for example, IBS construction using the panel wall, like that, this is a waste, and then from other normal construction is like this, something like
From infra, from road, from building. Then if you want to focus on building waste, then this is the time that you can say, okay, building waste is the highest waste producing sector. So therefore, we want to concentrate on the building waste.
Okay.
Yeah. Related to the amount versus the amount of waste. Okay. All right. So then current practice. The current practice only one sentence. Like one paragraph like this. Cannot elaborate, man.
Can elaborate more, no problem.
Green one, I to elaborate, what is the current
Okay.
practice with waste disposal? Is it internationally or is it in Malaysia?
Okay. Yes, in Malaysia. But internationally, there's a comparison of global standard there, which is the one after.
Yeah, so so don't I mean, if Malaysia also, I think this is a bit too little lah. I can't really tell like what you're trying to do here. It's like and then also internationally, it's also about internationally, how does people dispose waste? Malaysia, how does Malaysia dispose waste? Can we do that? Just keep it straightforward.
Yeah, can.
Okay. Don't compare now. Don't do any comparison. It's no point. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to do comparison after you spoke about Malaysia, after you spoke about internationally, you can have a table of comparison. That's fine. Okay? But this does not need to have one whole section again by itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is what Malaysia is doing, this is what Germany is doing, this is what Japan is doing, and all that. And these are the common challenges and all that. Okay, don't really have to talk about this first. I think if you want to talk about common challenges, I mean, we talk about waste management later on. The challenges, we put it there lah. Okay.
Okay.
So then you can have that. Then now from here, you've already more or less really understand what is construction and construction waste and how the waste are disposed and all that. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
You have to have a form of conclusion here. What did you get out of the above? So it shows that waste disposal is only part of managing waste. So now we want to focus on construction waste management. So then construction waste management. So what is the definition here? So construction waste management, I'm pretty sure it's about collection, it's about disposal, it's about what? Recycling. What is it about?
Recycling.
Management?
Okay.
Of the processes in construction waste management, you should be elaborating on that.
Okay.
Okay. Then so what is Malaysia way of managing waste? Or we just go for internationally. How does international counterpart manage waste? From what perspective are they managing waste? Maybe waste can be managed in terms of disposal is definitely one of them. Recycling, what to do with it, is one of them. And then of course the legislation pertaining to it is also one of them. So you must fully talk about what is construction waste, all the aspects of construction waste management and the associated process, and what does different country do. Maybe you can get some inspiration. Maybe some country has stricter law, some country does not have it.
Yeah, most of the country have more stricter law actually if you compare to other countries. Like this is the paragraph that shows that because and they have program again, they have landfill diversification program, all these things. So it is not inside our government's legislative actually.
Consider you've got something here already, but it's just very, very mumble jumble, like jumping up and down.
Okay.
So from the construction waste management, so what do we want to, we really need to clean up this disease. It's like you are like this everything kind of feel. So So I think you need to define, that's the first thing. The big picture is you need to define construction waste management and all the framework, process, and procedures that is associated with a theoretical construction waste management. Don't talk about country first, just talk about theory first. And then from there, what does some of the leading countries do when it comes to construction waste management? Then what does Malaysia do when it comes to construction waste management? Okay. And then maybe maybe you can have a section on issues or problems that is dealing with construction waste management that you can see as a whole, not just country based.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the issue could be legislation or enforcement. You know, you should explore all the issues that is related to construction waste management before you pin down on the legislation bit. Yeah. So it's like after you've done all this, pin it down first.
I think, yeah, but if you notice the 2.42, I think there is a, above a bit, I think there is one, how the Malaysia do their CWM. So is this going to be like paragraph again or just plumb it in full?
You can have like, don't have something that you can see your trend. You are like answering questions. 2.4, I give you one paragraph. 2.243, I give you one paragraph. You know, this is not how you do literature review. Literature review opens subsections on very, very major things. So construction waste management, you have to define first.
Okay.
You know, you need to tell us what is the procedures first for construction waste management. What are the available tools, techniques, and all that. And then you can go and focus on different countries. And then you don't jumble everything in one paragraph.
Okay.
Malaysia, finish talking about Singapore, finish talking about German, finish talking about then Malaysia, what Taiwan. What's the initiative? What is their practices? What is the tools? What is the technology? Either you go country by country, or you go like what you did is okay, you know, like item by item. So item by item, for example, if you say like waste management, construction waste management processes, you know, you finish with processes, then you talk about available tools, talk about available strategies, and then you talk about available initiatives. So yeah, but be very clear that you finish talking about one thing and then go to the next, go to the next, go to the next.
Okay.
So and what about current practices? So you think, I mean, like, we've got a few points here. But every one of these is lumping under current practices.
Okay.
So from CWM, you can have these processes. So let's say if you really want to open a subsection, is processes, description of the processes enough for you to open a subsection? So CWM processes. Okay. We're talking about very general, very theoretical, very what is CWM, you know, and what is the associated processes? What are the elements? What are the arms and legs of CWM? So give it introduction. Okay. Then after that, you can have another section on current practice. Point 2.
Okay.
Current practices. Under these current practices, you can go country by country. You can go elements by elements. So practices can come from many elements. Definitely the most focused, the most simple one, the most direct one will be, I think direct one would be probably the strategies for waste disposal. Right now. followed
Correct.
by the bigger thing could be, could be tools and techniques.
Mm.
You can directly go to tools and techniques because I think that would be quite small as well for you to talk about. So current
Mm.
practices in some countries they use 3R, in some countries they use certain tools, they use certain measurement, they use certain standards and all that.
Yep.
So I think you can talk about first standards, tools, and techniques.
Mm.
Okay, for
Mm.
CWN.
Mm.
And then you can talk about strategies
Mm.
and initiatives. Initiative is more like, like government come into the picture already. So from the organization coming to the authority, coming into the picture, and then later on the law bit of things, you see?
Mm. Mm.
Law and enforcement.
Mm.
So you see, you've got different segments here. You don't really have to break it down some more, but you finish talking about each of these in separate paragraphs. It doesn't have to be this in one paragraph. It can be several paragraphs, several pages. Then you can have A, B, C inside here, also can. But normally, after we break down into 2.2.2, we hardly want you to break it down again into another segments like that.
Okay.
We don't want that. We prefer that you just talk about, and then if you need to break some more down, then you can have A, B, C.
Mm. Oh, okay. Because I thought it has to be like, every single subsection breakdown we have like one.
So
That's
you
the
don't
reason why
you
it's.
for opening you don't put the opening subsection, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Ah.
Then okay.
You don't really look. I just wanted to look at comparison. Comparison is just a way of looking at things. I mean, like, are we doing comparison or what? So, I mean, like, if you look at comparison, you can have a summary of the kind of all this to compare the strategies, the initiatives, the tools, the law and enforcement. You can have a summary of it.
Okay.
You don't really want to have a specific comparison subsection. Okay, so I think you have something here, strategies, initiatives, and government agencies. So this is law and enforcement already, huh?
Yep.
And then you also have legislation, regulations,
Yep. Because this one is 2.5 already. 2.5 is another section which is talking about legal legislative. 2.4 is about CWM, and starting from 2.5 is about legal.
Yeah. So it's that after you finish talking about 2.4, one of the things that comes up will be law and legislation. Law, legislation, and enforcement. So 2.5 will straight away focus on law, legislation, and enforcement.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm.
So where all these, macam-macam, right? I think you've got a lot of this macam-macam inside here. Like what cultural context are, cultural context are, stakeholders are. You see, these are very general things. What is this in legislation, you see? You've got challenges and enforcement. This is under enforcement, so that's fine. Then this is public awareness and lack of CWN education. It has nothing to do with regulation.
Okay.
Sufficient infrastructure. So all these things I think is about
CWM 2.4.
Yes,
It's under the subsection 2.4.
yes, it's about issues that is related to CWM.
Yep.
Issues related to implementation of CWM. So you need to sort this out,
Okay. Then.
And then
So the legal is not only about the legal part, and the economic concern I think is also, but this one is actually affecting the compliance. This one is under legal or under CWM?
economic, is it?
Yeah, economic concern. It is categorized under CWM or more, because it's like we don't have the money to enforce the legality of it.
It should be under CWM.
Okay.
Or if you want to put into the other segments, which is the then this this one cannot be like directly because in legislation and enforcement, I want you to be very focused. I mean, like if you're talking about legal law enforcement,
Mm.
then
Mm.
this would be in one of the things here that we talk about what can affect compliances.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can have what can affect enforcement, what can affect compliance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
The culture attitude, this definitely has to be in CWM already.
Okay.
So I think you have some information here, like limited collaboration. These are all under CWM. This is issues of CWM.
Okay.
It's like the sources of problem with CWM,
Mm.
of why CWM is not implemented properly, and one of the why it's not being implemented properly is because of legislation and enforcement.
Mm.
And then the next section 2.5, we focus on legislation and enforcement. Again, go from the big picture of what is currently available legislation, what is the problem with the legislation, what is the problem with what is the current enforcement, and what are the current problem with enforcement.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Understood.
So this will make more sense.
Okay.
Right, huh?
Right. So I guess I will just restructure the things properly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm giving Africa and Faroe up until 24th and 25th, 26th also can. I think at one point the three of you will be going into a different pace already. So see how you go on the 24th, 25th, 26th. If whoever give me first, then I will go for who first. If all come at the same time, then I will do another session with you guys. Huh?
Okay. Okay. Can.
Right, huh? So I think
Can.
I will save this and I'll also give the recording later for you all to go through it again on what we have spoken about this morning. And then I think
Okay.
it's same sense now. Everything needs restructuring.
Okay. Can.
So can I take this as your first draft? Because
Yeah.
I think
Can.
the previous one is just really, really messy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I will send you guys this and then I will digest the recording and then I will pass it on to you all by today or
Okay.
by tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Then you all take your time. I mean, take these 2 weeks, two and a half weeks to actually clean up everything. Before 28, give me a copy. I'll file the order to give me by 24th, 5th, and 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can. So if I can manage to get it earlier, I can book your time if you are available. If
Yes.
I manage to get. Okay. Can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, all.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ting.
Yeah,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, bye bye.